Stop and take a breath of Walker. Texas Ranger lived in your home the way it lived in mine. This will hit deep. Those roundhouse kicks, those hats, that sunset justice. They shaped a whole era. But time moves on, even for our heroes. Stay with me till the end, because we're honoring the faces and voices who made this show a legend. Sharing the moments we loved, how they left us, and the quiet lessons they left behind. Watch all the way through, then tell me in the comments who you miss most and why. We start with Floyd Red Crow Westerman, the steady voice you felt before you even saw him. As Uncle Ray, he was Walker's hardline roots, history, and the calm truth you can lean on. He did not need to throw a punch to own a scene. One look, one quiet line, and you knew where Walker's compass pointed. Off camera, he was a country singer, a writer, and a strong voice for Native rights. He marched, he sang, and he spoke for people who needed to be heard. If you have ever listened to Custer Die for Your Sins, you know he used art to open doors. He left us in 2007 at 71, but that quiet strength still lives in every Uncle Ray scene. Small smiles, gentle warnings, and the kind of love that holds a family together. Then there's Noble Willingham, our CD Parker bar owner, mentor, giver of advice in Chile. CD was the place you go when you need to think, to laugh, or to hear a hard truth without a hard edge. He was Walker's old partner and the soul of many nights when the case felt heavy. Noble had a long career before Walker. Good Morning, Vietnam, Chinatown, Ace Ventura, but CD felt like home. Midway through season 7, he stepped away to run for Congress back in Texas. He did a little acting again, then settled down. He passed in 2004 at 72. For fans, every quiet shot of that bar now feels like a memory. A chair pulled out, a plate set down, a friend ready to listen. No badge on his chest, but the kind of courage that shows up day after day. Michael Parks brought a different kind of power, the chill that moves across a room when a true villain enters. As Caleb Hooks, he was danger with a smile. A man you feared because he looked like he already knew where the story ended. In season 4's The Avenger, he set a trap that stayed in our heads, then returned in season 7's No Way Out with a plan even colder. Parks was already a cult icon from Then Came Bronson, Twin Peaks, and later, Kill Bill. He had that gift of doing very little and saying so much. He also sang, and when he did, the voice matched the man. Cool, sure, a little rough at the edges. He passed in 2017 at 77. If you ever catch yourself glancing at a door during a tense scene, half expecting Caleb Hooks to stroll back in, that's Michael's hold on the show. Eloy Casados gave us Sheriff Sam Coyote, the badge who knew when to be firm and when to be kind. He and Walker shared history, trust, and that quiet way men talk when they don't need to prove anything. In the 2-part story, Lucas, his steady hand kept the team grounded while the plot pushed everyone to the edge. Eloy started acting in the 70s and kept working through films and TV down and out in Beverly Hills. Shameless, Long My Ran was a strong presence for Native actors as well. He helped build a better path behind the scenes, not just on screen. He passed in 2016 at 66. Watch him again and you'll see it. A sheriff who protects as much with grace as with force. Brian. James, you know him as the piercing eyes and iron jaw from Blade. Runner and a dozen tough guy roles stepped into Walker. For the 2-part, Lucas as Rayford Cobb, a broken man whose choices had a cost he could not pay. He made you feel anger and pity at the same time, which is rare. Brian was one of those actors who could walk on, say 5 lines, and leave you with a knot in your stomach. He passed in 1999 at just 54 from a heart attack. He was not a regular, but his mark was deep, and that's the sign of a true character actor. One scene, and you remember him for years. Clarence Jouillard Jr. was James Trevette, the partner you trust with your back, your bad day. He balanced Walker with energy, humor, and heart. He could hack a system, chase down a lead, then land a line that made you smile in the middle of the storm. Before Walker, he was Sundown in Top Gun, Theo in Die Hard, and Conrad on Matlock. On set, he gave. Off set, he taught, earning his MFA and pouring himself into young actors at UNLV. He passed on November 28, 2022 at 66 after a long illness. Fans still share clips of Trevette's fast wit and kind eyes, and his students still talk about the way he taught them to be brave and present. When you think of Walker and you feel warmth, odds are you're thinking of Trevette, standing there, ready with a plan and a grin. Paul Winfield, for one powerful hour, gave the show a sermon with no pulpit. As Pastor Roscoe Jones in The Soul of Winter, he showed a kind of courage that does not fire a gun or throw a kick. It stands its ground with love and memory. Paul was an Oscar nominee for Sounder, won an Emmy for Picket Fences, and appeared in The Terminator, Star Trek II, and Roots, The Next Generations. He passed in 2004 at 64. On Walker, he brought the same depth he brought everywhere else, a voice that made you sit up and listen, and a face that carried both pain and hope at the same time. These 7 are the names most fans say first when we talk about those we have lost. But let's also hold space for the many guests and day players who came through Dallas, gave the story heat or heart, and are no longer with us. Walker, Texas Ranger, ran long enough to feel like family, and families are bigger than the people at the table every night. Stunt teams who took the hits, extras who filled the bar, character actors who showed up, scared us, or made us laugh. Some of them are gone too, and their work still holds up every time you press play. We also owe them something simple: respect. When we talk about their lives, keep the talk kind. Not every choice was good, not every day was easy, but they gave us good work, and that work still speaks. Say their names, rewatch their scenes, share a story in the comments about how a moment helped you or made you laugh. If you ever learned a small life rule from a Walker episode, stand up, help your neighbor, hear the quiet person in the room tell us about it. Those lessons are part of their legacy too. Here is one more thought as you watch the final montage. Walker, Texas Ranger, didn't only show us how to fight, it showed us how to stand by people. Uncle Ray stood by Walker, CD stood by the whole team, Trevette stood by victims, by kids, by anyone who needed a lift. Sheriff Sam kept his town steady. Pastor Roscoe stood by truth when it would have been easier to let the past stay buried. Even the villains, in their way, showed the cost of a life spent on the wrong side of the line. If you carry a little of that with you after the credits roll, then their work is still doing good. Which of these goodbyes hit you the hardest? Was it Uncle Ray's quiet wisdom? CD's laugh behind the counter? Trevette's quick smile before the chase? Sheriff Sam's steady voice on the radio? Michael Park's cold stare that made your skin crawl? Brian James' raw edge that made the world feel dangerous? Paul Winfield's calm that made you want to be better? Tell me below. I read the comments, and I know other fans do too. Your memory may help someone else remember a scene they forgot and need today. If this tribute felt right to you, please like the video, watch till the very end for the soft final beat, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the shows and stars we love. Share this with a friend who watched with you back in the day. And if you're rewatching Walker right now, maybe let one episode roll tonight for the ones we lost. Sit with the credits, hear the song, remember the faces. They were heroes once a week on TV. In your memory, they still are.